The Rollins Family. John Rollins, born 1852, died 1930. Catherine Rollins, born 1845, died 1919. Marjorie Rollins, born 1883, died 1957. Nettie Rollins, born 1881, died 1916. Sue Rollins, born 1888, died 1959. They are buried in St. John the Evangelist Cemetery in Barrytown. Their gravestones are marked by a granite tablet with footstones just northeast of the church near the driveway. John Rollins was the son of farmers Richard and Catherine Rollins of Ireland and grew up in the town of Milan. In 1880, he was recorded living in the home of his father-in-law, Charles Gibson, with his new wife, Catherine, and her brother James. Catherine's mother was Mary Rollins, but it is unknown how closely related her mother and husband were, if at all. Their tombstone tells us that John was born in 1852, and his wife Catherine 7 years before him in 1845. That was unusual for the time, but not unheard of. The gap between their ages fluctuated between the 1880 and 1915 census, between 1 to 5 years, showing that someone reported a lower number for Catherine to the enumerator. They lived in her father's house in Barrytown until about 1888, after all 3 of their children were born. The family then removed to Northampton, Massachusetts, where John was a salesman for more than 2 decades. It's not known why they returned, but 2 things might have motivated them. First, their youngest daughter was chronically ill, and second, following the death of her brother William in 1911, Catherine obtained an inheritance by letters of administration. William Gibson had no heirs, and made out his will in 1896, leaving his wealth to his surviving brothers Charles and George, both of whom died before he did. The paper reported William left $3,000 in real estate and a personal estate of $7,500, no small sum in 1911. John and Catherine Rollins' 3 daughters were Nettie, born 1881, died 1916, Marjorie, born 1883, died 1957, and Sue, or Susie as she was frequently enumerated, born 1888, died 1959. None of them ever married. Nettie worked at a restaurant when they lived in Massachusetts, and Marjorie was the secretary to Dr. Bell at St. Stephen's College, the precursor to Bard, starting in 1920, retiring in 1946. She was not recorded as having an occupation, but she was a member of the church and the Red Hook Garden Club. She died while visiting Needham, Massachusetts. Their youngest sister, Nettie, died in 1916 after a long illness at the age of 35. Tenor James Young sang, "I heard the voice of Jesus say," and "There's a beautiful land on high," at her funeral in the church. John Rollins was hale, hearty, and active at 78 years of age when he fell off a ladder while making repairs to their house. He succumbed to his injuries a few days later. The paper reported that he was a great favorite among the younger people of the community, and that the church was filled with neighbors and friends, and many floral tributes.